Test, test. Can you hear me? Testing, testing. All right. This is our last and final session of the very first It's All in Me book talk, where it all began. Okay. This book is the genesis of this version of my business. My business has changed, it has evolved. I've changed, I've evolved. Like, you can look at the picture and see how much I've changed and evolved. I've cut my hair. My hair has grown back out. Like, so many things has changed. I got married, got divorced, had 3 kids. So many things have changed since this book. And I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful for this whole journey of this book talk. It has been so much fun. For those that are on my YouTube, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you that have subscribed, that have shared, that have liked, that have watched. Like, I am super duper grateful for you all. We have hit 50 subscribers, the first milestone that I'm celebrating for our channel. I will be doing a giveaway. I'll be posting a little bit later about that, but I just want to say thank y'all. Like, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, because the behind the scenes things that have been happening, even literally before this event, like, everything has been trying to go wrong to distract me, to get me out of sorts, to keep me from moving forward and doing the things that God has called me to do. And He's showing me each and every day, step by step, okay, this is the next thing, this is the next thing. So it has definitely been a faith walk with this whole book talk, with writing my next book, with this YouTube journey, with my doula training, with the new meetup group. Like, so many things have been a faith walk, and just really being able to surrender to the process and accept things as they come and not try to control the outcome. That has been a big, big, big challenge for me, not trying to control the outcome. Drop a one in the chat if that is your challenge too, okay? Even if you catching the replay, drop a one in the chat, because I know for me it is so hard to hold on, y'all. Hey Tia, thank you for joining. My kids, when I tell y'all, my kids have the most impeccable timing. I literally didn't start until 7:07, okay? 3 minutes later, they come upstairs yelling, screaming, and jumping on the bed. I'm like, yo, why? Just why? I give them a disclaimer. I let them know what I'm doing beforehand. But kids, y'all know kids, they just do not care. They have no F's to give, okay? And that's my kids and my nieces, because they over here too. So bear with me. If I got to pause, it's because I got to yell at these kids to go back downstairs. Okay.
It's okay.
Yes, but thank you so much for joining. This is the final session. Like, I cannot believe it has been 6 sessions already. It's like literally time flew by, and Christmas is next week.
Mm.
What's going on here?
For real.
But this has been so much fun. This won't be the last one, I know for sure. I don't know when I'm going to do it again, or if I'm going to do it with this version of the book or the next version. I know I'm going to do one for the next version of the book. I just gotta stick to my plan of writing and getting it self-published by February. So we'll see if I'll do another one for this book before the next book, or if I'll just do it again for the next book. But we'll see. We'll see how God leads. Because I was saying before I had to mute, like, this whole journey with this book talk, even with my book, it's been a walk of faith. The very first chapter of this book, like, literally, when I say I'm living and using this framework on a day-to-day basis, like, literally, like, every single day has been a faith walk. Like, all right, God, what are we doing today?
Right.
I have my plans. I have the things that I want to happen. I want, we try to control the outcome. That's what I was talking about before you jumped on. Like, we try to control the outcome of things instead of surrendering and accepting, like, okay, I can't control the outcome. That's not my job. That's not my responsibility. That's not my role. But sometimes we like, oh, let me go ahead and try to do this over here so this can happen. And literally, it just does not work like that. It doesn't work like that. When it comes to faith, it's literally this blind walk of faith that we're doing. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's like, what am I doing? Like, what are we doing here, God? Like,
Right.
what's going on? Like, I thought I was on the right track. I thought I was on the right path. But even if we get on the wrong path, or we deter, or we get distracted, because it's always a distraction, whether it's a person, place, or thing, it's always something that's out there to distract us and keep us from being in line with what God has for us to do and who He has for us to be. But the more aware we are, and the more we tune into spaces like this in books, and just continuing to feed our mind, continuing to feed our being, it will support us with, okay, I'm off track. Let me go ahead and reroute. Let me go ahead and recalibrate and get back to where I know I'm supposed to be. Because, like the title of the book says, it's all in me. We know we have the innate ability, we have the innate wisdom, knowledge, and power to stay on track. But our flesh, our physical being, is always something with it that's like, ooh, I like this over there. I'm gonna go ahead and try it over there. Oh, I like that over there. I'm gonna go ahead and try. No, stay focused. Stay inside. Get silent. Do what you need to do to be able to continue to stay self-aware, continue to stay aligned with where God has for you to be. And just know, even if you do get off track, it's not for you to beat yourself up. It's not for you to talk bad to yourself. It's not for you to get into a space of guilt or shame, because God can use it all, and He will use it all.
Absolutely. And just kind of, touching on that, because, I've read the first chapter. I have the book. It arrived. I'm excited to continue reading it. I just want to, because this is just how, I hope this doesn't come off wrong. I don't get like the Bible thumping religious vibes from you. I don't.
See, that's why I say I've changed so much since this book. That's why I'm writing. That's another reason why I'm doing a second edition of this book, because I've literally changed so much since writing this book. That's why I tell people, like, I was a different version of myself when I wrote this book. So take what do they say? Eat the meat and spit out the bones. Because I know you like, that's not who she is. Like, that's really not who I am anymore.
Right.
So that's why I'm writing another edition of this book, so people can see the transition and the change of who I was when I wrote the first edition, and how I've changed and my beliefs have changed since then.
Okay. Absolutely. And it just made me think of the saying, even though I know you're a Christian, and I just identify as spiritual, but like, I don't know, like, I think you give definitely the meaning of I'm spiritual but not religious. That's the vibes I get from you.
Yeah, I don't consider myself a Christian anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. That's really what it is. Like, it's about my relationship with God. It's about my path and my walk with God. It's not about religion. It's not about the church. It's not about any of that. I haven't been to church since before the pandemic.
Oh,
Well, I
wow.
went
Okay.
for not too long ago, but it is definitely more about my spiritual walk than it is about religion, or, like I said, I still study the Bible. I still read the Bible, but it's from a different perspective, and it's from a different relationship that I have with God than when I wrote this book.
Okay. And can I ask, are you interested in any other space, or is I'm just strictly like just focused on the spirituality of it? Not necessarily I'm gonna get into another per se religion just to give myself a title. Where are you right now with that?
Yeah, I don't see myself getting into another religion or another faith. It's just because I'm so diverse in what I believe, I wouldn't fit into any other religious faith or box or whatever the case may be. Because it's like I said, I read the Bible, I study the Bible, I do human design, I do Reiki. Like, it's so many different things and so many different things that I do and believe. I couldn't see myself going to say being Muslim or being Buddhist, or it's just not. I don't see myself putting myself into a box like that again.
I can relate to that so much because, like, of course, I came up in the church, but like as I got older, my mom she kind of got into Islam, but we never like converted to it. But we definitely are influenced by it to this day. Some of the things we really respect about it, just the things, the discipline, the diet, the community aspect of it. A lot of things we respect about it, but we're not Muslim. We're not Muslim. And honestly, we don't really identify as nothing. My mom even studying about like the Orishas and stuff like that. Like, but we couldn't call us that we have religion, but we do believe in God. We know there's something greater than us. There is a higher power.
Absolutely.
So I'm definitely, I just identify as spiritual. It's like, okay. Yeah. And I think like for me, I feel like having religion, I respect it, but it's like almost consuming yourself to be in a fish tank, but spirituality, you're the ocean. That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's so much more to even God being God. Like, it's just it's so much bigger than religion. It's so much bigger than even spirituality. Is like it's such a spectrum of what you can believe, or how you go about embodying your spirituality. Like it's just such a spectrum, like you said, like it's an ocean. Like it's
Mm.
limitless. There's no box that you can put yourself in when it comes to being spiritual. But it's just for me,
Yeah.
really about relationship, how I am in relationship to God, relationship to myself, and relationship to others. That's the
Right.
biggest thing for me,
Right.
and how I show up in those relationships, whether it's being spiritual or not, like whatever you want to call it. But for me, it's about relationships and who I am being.
Right. Absolutely. And I do have another question. Like when you were writing the book, did you have visions about yourself? Like, what do I not, I don't want to put too much in here. What's the part, like, am I solely just trying to tell my journey through what I've been through in my stories? Like, how was that? Because you talk about how your mother had a miscarriage, you didn't have a relationship with your father. Like, why, what revisions did you have of not want to give too much of yourself, like, in this book? Like,
I've
did you
always
have,
been an open book. This was just really like putting it out on paper,
mhm,
because I've always been the type to believe, like, no, well, not always. Like once I really started talking about it, it was like in my 20s, like when 2021, around that age, when I started to understand that if I tell it, nobody can hold it over my head.
mhm,
That's just the way I started thinking. Like, there's nothing that you can hold over my head because I've already said it. I've already put it out there.
mhm,
So for me, it was even on the spiritual side, like the enemy could never hold anything over my head to make me feel shameful or guilty about anything. Once I got to that
mhm,
point of freedom to say, like, this is my truth, this is my experience. You can take it, leave it, think what you think about it. It just is what it is.
mhm.
We have this
Right.
idea of saying, like, oh, like there's levels to things, which it is
Mhm,
levels. Like there's different frequencies, there's different energies that come with things. But for me, it's like I my saying is,
mhm.
it is what it is.
Right.
It's all a part of my story. It's a part of the masterpiece that I am. It's a part of the masterpiece that is my life. So
Mhm,
whether you label it a certain thing or not, it just is what it is. So for me,
mhm,
I was very intuitively guided with this whole process of writing and sharing the different aspects of my life.
mhm,
It was like,
mhm.
you know what? Like a part of me was like, are you sharing too much? Are you putting too much into the book? But
Yeah.
many people that are suffering in silence, that feel like they're alone, that feel like, oh, I'm the only one that struggles with this. I'm the only one that's been through this. I'm the only one that's XYZ. No, I've
Mhm.
had a plethora of experiences. And
Right.
I want people to know that they're not alone. I want people to
Right.
know that the traumas, the abuse, the different things that they've experienced, that
Mhm,
they, or even the things that they struggle with, addictions or whatever, like that they're not alone and they don't have to suffer in silence with it. So for me,
mhm,
that's really what it was. To share my
mhm,
experience, the wide array of experiences that I've had, good, bad, or indifferent, to let people know
mhm,
that they're not alone and that they can make it through what they've gone through. Because one, I did it, and we have the tools in order to do it, the framework in order to do it. So that way,
mhm,
it's really not like there were thoughts about, oh, am I sharing too much? But it was
mhm,
more so like being intuitively and spiritually guided to say, okay,
mhm,
this is if it's just for one person, then that's
mhm.
absolutely fine.
Right. Right. It's very interesting. As I told you, I'm excited to finish the rest of it. Like like I just want to know more. Like, dang, like you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. And most people don't come out on the end like, you know what? Because I'm assuming you, of course, you're a better healed version of yourself. For the book, you have all these platforms that really empower women and inspire, and it's positive, and it's about mental health and healing, and like a lot of people don't come out on this side of that. Like you could be a very different person. Like on
Absolutely.
the so I
Absolutely. And
commend you for that.
that's another reason why I tell my story, because people get to see what's possible. On the other side of addictions, on the other side of abuse, on the other side of neglect, like on the other side of all of the trauma, all of the baggage, there is another way.
Right. And
So
I'm no, sorry, not to cut you off. I'm no stranger to it myself. I definitely deal with the generational curses too. My mom was a dealt with incestual shit in her family. Excuse me for cussing, but
no, you good.
yeah, um, and I have to grow it up seeing the person that violated my mother and seeing how that affects her, and it's just something she's still dealing with to this day, and how that affecting how she was overprotective of me and my sister. You know, it's still healing that she has to do within herself. So
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. And for me, realizing that and understanding the capacity and the capability that I have with my own healing, to be able to heal my ancestors, to be able to heal my mom, seeing the different things that she was in bondage to, or like that she felt like she couldn't talk about, because a part of the book talks about, until I opened up and spoke about what happened to me, my mom never told anybody. And this was her in her 40s. She had never
Mm-hmm.
told anybody what happened to her until I opened up and told her, like, this is what's been going on.
Right.
So for me, it's been a journey of not only healing my own self and the future generations, I've been healing past generations of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say it's so much bigger than just us, we can't go through this life and think that, oh, it's just about me. And I realize
Mm-hmm.
that is why narcissistic and selfish people bother me so much, because they feel like it's all about them when it's really not. They don't realize how many people and how many generations they are impacting by only thinking about themselves.
Right.
So
Right.
it's definitely it's not easy being the one to bear the burden of, breaking the generational curses and being the one to do things differently, speak up, speak out, and share things. But I know
Mm-hmm.
it's all worth it. I know it's
Absolutely.
all worth it. And I definitely have come so far in my healing journey, even more recently with the energetic work and really tapping into a deeper side of my spirituality. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, man, that's why God is calling me out. Like, all right, I need you to really start sharing this stuff. And I'm like,
Right.
again, more, more.
But
So,
yes.
but it's like every single day I get messages, or, you or somebody else will come on here and they'll just thank me for what I'm doing and how I'm showing up. And it's like, it's really not me. Like, it's me, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not all me. Because if it was up to me, I would still be behind the scenes, like only, sharing certain things, doing certain things with myself or with my family. But it's so much more that God is calling me to do, so many more people that he's calling me to impact. And people are asking me all the time. One of my close friends, she like, girl, you need to do a vlog. She said, because you get so
Mm-hmm.
much done. You do so much. Like, how do you do all of this stuff? And it's not by my own might. It's not by my own power.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if it was left up to me, I'd be, shoot, especially when it get cold outside, I want to be in my bed, cuddled up
Mm-hmm.
with somebody's
Yeah.
son. But in this season, it's like, you know what? I'm going to continue to walk by faith and continue to do the things that I know are not only going to impact me, but so many other people and generations of people. Because people
Right.
are experiencing their healing, they're getting their freedom from the things that I'm doing, and the things that I'm sharing about my life and about my story.
Right. Absolutely. It definitely is serving a purpose for sure.
Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Here they go again. Yeah. So did you have any more
Yeah.
questions before we get into the discussion questions?
Oh no, no questions. As of now, no more.
Okay. We've done this before, the
Mm-hmm.
welcome, all of that. We just gonna get to the discussions. Y'all see, y'all know
Mm-hmm.
why by now. If you're on my YouTube channel, you probably know who I am. But all of
Mm-hmm.
the screen, if you catching the replay to watch to read this. Um our mission is to guide you to see and be your most authentic self, uncover and release limiting beliefs, and unleash the golden child within. Upcoming events, finance therapy circle, grief circle, eliminating limiting beliefs. And that's one of the things that I was talking about as far as the energetic work and really supporting people with eliminating limiting beliefs, because those are some of the things that we a lot of times subconsciously are unaware of, but we've been so programmed to believe a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm just so used to moving and being this way. It's just how I am. Like you hear people say that all the time. Like it's just how I am. It's just how I am. No, you can
Right.
change it. You can literally change it in a moment, in an instant, by shifting those beliefs about who you are and shifting
Mm-hmm.
those beliefs about the world around you. So, eliminating limiting beliefs, I'm really excited about. I'm nervous because this is the first time I'll be sharing this with really anybody outside of me, like because I don't even
Mm-hmm.
do this type of stuff with my family. So because
Right.
I'm very, very different than my family is. Like they like you
Mm.
doing something else. Like what
I understand.
is
I
this?
definitely
So
understand.
I just been keeping it to myself. But like I said, it's been a faith walk of just being like, okay, God, like you want me to share it, you want me to show people that what's possible to be able to in an instant shift things that you've been struggling with or bound by
Mm.
sometimes their whole lives. So
Right.
I'm excited about that event. Freedom Fridays is, of course, the podcast that we do every Friday.
Mm.
Um, and then our journaling social. And more recently, I just started my third meetup group. It's
Oh
called the
wow.
Empowered Birth Tribe, and it's specifically for um melanated moms that are navigating high risk and or high stress pregnancies. So y'all know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of becoming a doula, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
specifically focused on pregnancy and birth, some postpartum depending on what my clients are asking for, but mainly pregnancy and birth, and providing
Mm-hmm.
them with the holistic experience despite the labels of high risk or experiencing high stress during their pregnancy. So we will
Mm-hmm.
be doing our meet and greet and our launch party. So if you know anybody that is pregnant and experiencing a high risk or high stress pregnancy and they're melanated mama, send them to the group. And then of
Okay.
course, Single Mom Society is for single moms, and we do our monthly support social. So those
Okay.
are our upcoming events. We have some. God has already been showing me what to do in January, so I'm excited about that too. But stay tuned for that. What we offer, it's all here. It's all on my website.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, of course. I'm super excited. We've hit 50 subscribers, so I'm super duper like I'm just watching God do things that it's like outside of my my power, outside of my will, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even with that, it's like there was a day where I had, I think, 48 subscribers, and I'm just like, all right, let me get to this 50 mark. And then
Mm-hmm.
somebody unsubscribed. And you know how it's like,
Oh.
dang, like you trying to move
Man.
forward and you taking steps back. But I realized it's like, you know what? Even with that, it's progress being made. We don't
Right.
always think of a step back or a step in a different direction as progress. As long
We
as you're
don't.
moving, progress is being made. So I'm excited to see how things go. I will be doing a giveaway. I'll be posting more about that a little bit later. So
Okay.
stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Um, of course, we did session 1. We talked about faith. Session 2, we talked about family and friends. Session 3, we talked about forgiveness and forgetfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Session 4, we talked about feeding our mind, feeding our being. Session 5, we talked about finding our own path. And today, the end of the book is really just like reflections and kind of wrapping up and giving like a more complete version of my story, my experiences, because some things, of course, like doing the book the way that I did, I couldn't necessarily go in chronological order with different things.
Right.
So chapter 7 is really like just the abridged version of my journey and how everything fits together. And chapter 6 is just reflections on the freedom framework.
Okay.
But of course, when you read it, you'll be like, okay, I get it. I understand what she was talking about.
Right.
But our discussion questions for today, the first one is looking back, what are some key lessons that have shaped who you are today?
Key lessons. A lot of key lessons. Did you? I'm sorry. Am I supposed to be talking right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Talking out loud. But a lot like I'm originally from Louisiana, so I'm a survivor of Hurricane Katrina. Losing like all like literally, it just we wasn't expecting that to happen. Lose everything. Very devastating, traumatic experience. So we decided to move to Georgia to kind of just pick up pieces and start life over, a fresh start. That was devastating, but that taught me like don't take things for granted. You know, you think you got something now, you ain't always gonna have it, and just the spirit to just keep moving forward, fortitude. You got to keep moving. Just so losing everything and that very traumatic, experience like that just taught me a lot about being grateful for things and not take things for granted. That may sound cliche, but that really was a big lesson I learned. So yeah.
And that it shows how resilient you and your family is. Like we know as Black people how resilient our people are, but when we experience it, it's like, oh, like when you tap into a different level of resilience when you go through stuff like that, and you literally got to start all over.
Right.
And it shows you, like I talk about all the time, how important like family and relationships are.
Yeah.
Everything, like you can literally at any moment, whether a natural disaster, a fire, like going bankrupt, like you can literally lose everything, the things at any moment. But do you have relationships that are going to last throughout those challenging times? Do you have people that you can go to for help, support, even just a shoulder to cry on during those times?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely get it. Just being able to realize what's most important when things like that happen. For me, more recently, I'll definitely say understanding that reciprocity doesn't always come from the person that you pour into or give to. And being able to release the expectation of that. Because a lot of times the people that we pour into, that we pour the most into, that we love the most, they don't have it to give.
Yeah.
And being able to accept that and know that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that I'm not doing it in vain. And sometimes it might feel like it, and sometimes when relationships end, it's like I did all of that for nothing. But at some point, the love that you did, the love that you gave, the things that you did, it'll come back to you, but it'll really, it's like kind of a boomerang effect sometimes with people. Like it takes some time for them to really get it.
Yeah.
To understand what you did, how you loved them, what you poured into them, and the value of what you gave to them. So for me, it's like releasing expectations of people, accepting people for where they are and what they do or don't have to give, And being able to know that what I pour out, I'm going to get back. Is just sometimes it's just not from the person that I pour out to. Um,
Right.
that's a hard lesson. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very hard lesson because we have expectations of the people that we love, the people closest to us, to love us the way that we love them.
Absolutely.
And, in an ideal world, that's what it would be. But there are so many broken, unhealed, hurt people that are children in adults' bodies because they got stuck at some point from their traumatic experiences or from when they didn't receive what they needed from the people around them. They got stuck at a certain point, and even though it might look or seem like they're an adult, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, they're children still or teenagers still.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. A lot of
And it
people
can
do have
be
unhealed
hard
trauma.
because it's like I'm looking at a grown person. Like, why are you not like? Why don't you get it?
Emotional intelligence. Everybody don't have it. Everybody don't try to work on it. You know, we everybody a work in progress. Nobody perfect. But if you don't know, if you don't acknowledge it, like you don't want to do better, that's on you.
Absolutely. And I was telling my friend, it's like I know that I'm a different type of person. I know that I do things differently than most people when it comes to how I show up for other people, whether strangers, friends, family, whatever. The love that I have to give, I know most times I'm not going to get it back.
Mm.
So I have to, when I find myself frustrated with people, I remind myself like it's because of your expectations. You're expecting them
Mm.
to show up for you the way that you show up for them.
Right.
So it's definitely been a learning journey, okay? Because every
Yeah.
single day I'll be looking like, yeah, I go again with my expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
And even with myself, like understanding that I'm not going to always get it right. I'm not going to
Yeah.
always be perfect. Like releasing this idea that I always have to be perfect. Perfect. I always have to do things right, get things right. Like giving
Mm.
myself, being able to give myself grace and space to make mistakes, to fail, to falter, to slip. Like giving myself the grace and space to do that has made life so much easier because
Mm.
I don't have these unrealistic expectations of myself to always get it right. And then when I don't, beat myself up about it or talk negative to myself about it. So
Right.
just being able to release expectations and understand that reciprocity works different than what I thought or what I believed before. um,
Mm.
those are some of the key lessons that have really shaped who I am today.
Good.
Um, So the next question is, what does living abundantly mean to you, and how can you pursue it moving forward?
Hmm. And it's for me, like when you think like say abundantly, like I do always well in general you would go to like okay my financial like status, but like I think also how I feel about myself when things not going right, like is everything's not going to be perfect, like and I still have to live and be happy and get through the day and the week and the month and the year, like one day at a time. That's living abundant, like inner peace and just being okay with where I am, not worrying about the future. That's living abundantly to me as well. And if you keep working towards things you want, eventually, if you're not where you want to be financially, that'll come too, and provide a different, I guess, lifestyle for yourself that you can do things. There's not a lot of stress financially, um, and that's how you pursue it moving forward. Just staying positive, like but accepting things for what it is. Life ain't perfect. Like just accept it for what it is. Be present. Just keep moving forward, and it's a mindset too. Think positive. Don't always speak life into your life. Things like that. That's abundantly to me.
Yes, absolutely. My friend posted something earlier and I'm trying to find it. Can you hear my baby screaming?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. The post says, sometimes we forget how blessed we are It says my hot water works. I have groceries to eat. I can still
Mm,
afford eggs. I have clean
mm,
sheets on my bed. I have family and friends that love me. And I woke up
mm,
today in my right mind. If that's not
mm,
blessed, I don't know what is.
mm-hmm.
It's
For
like
real.
the things that we take for granted. That's what I was talking about, distractions, like feeling like we don't have enough or that we got to go out and get more. I got to do more. Like those are distractions from being present and understanding in a moment you have everything that you need. Like
Mm,
you are exactly where you're supposed to be in this very moment. Even if a situation occurred and it's chaotic and it's stressful and it's whatever, like when you can stop, pause, and really get back to yourself, you realize like I'm good, like I'm blessed, like I am abundance. Like despite
mm.
what the bank account may say, despite what somebody else may
Yeah.
say, like I am abundance. My life is abundant. Like I'm literally lacking nothing in this very moment. So for
Yes.
me,
Yes.
like being able to focus on what I do have and where I am and who I am, that's living abundantly. Like not focusing on, the different aspects of I'm literally writing this in the book talking about when it comes to money, the actual dollars or whatever the case may be, numbers on the screen, the reason why it has value is because we believe it does.
Right.
If we didn't believe that it had value as a collective society, it would no longer have value.
Right.
So it comes back to, okay, I'm abundant because I have different beliefs. I'm abundant because I believe that I am abundant. I believe that I am not lacking and never was lacking, despite what the outer situation or circumstance look like.
Mm,
So being able to pursue that moving forward looks like being present, getting still, on a regular basis to say, you know what? I'm not going to focus on the situation. I'm not going to focus on the dysfunction, the chaos, the drama, the distractions. I'm going to focus on where I am right now in this moment because I'm okay. I have everything that I need because I'm still alive. I'm breathing and I'm in my
mm.
right mind because I can sit back and say, you know what? It's going to be okay. It's
Yeah.
going to be okay.
That's the best way to be.
Absolutely. It's like it's easy for us to get distracted by what we don't have, what we're missing, or who left, what we lost, whatever the case may be. But the more that we can get back to, man, like, like this post says, I got my hot water works, and there's a lot of people that
Mm-hmm.
can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Whether
Yep.
they in homes or out, homeless. It's like, man, like I literally I got a roof over my head, my electricity is on, even though, sometimes, back in the day, lights
Mm-hmm.
get cut off every other month.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's like, man, like we have come such a long way, but society will tell you, especially American culture will tell you, oh, you gotta go out and get more, you don't have enough.
Mm.
This season is Christmas season. You
Oh.
gotta you gotta go out and get all the toys, all the commercials on YouTube and TV, all of that. You gotta get this for the kids. You gotta get that. The different families on YouTube that my kids be watching. They doing the big Christmases and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to like really open my own eyes to be able to share with my kids. Like, yes, this is how I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
but just because this is how I grew up doesn't mean that I'm going to continue to pass this down to my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That for me is abundance to be able to believe and think for myself and do things differently than what I was conditioned to believe or how I even grew up. Like that to me is abundance because we could easily like, oh, just go along and get along because that's what we were conditioned to believe or that's how things were or how things have
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote always been.
Oh
But to be
yeah.
able to say, you know what, I'm gonna do things differently. I'm not just going to follow along or follow the pattern or follow the generational thing. I'm gonna do things differently.
Absolutely. And is you not defining as a Christian anymore? Does that have anything to do how you are viewing Christmas now? Because a lot of people say Jesus is the reason for the season, but Christmas is really what they push is just about spending money and buying gifts. Santa Claus, like nobody really focused on the religious aspect of what it is or what they claim it to be, because people debate that he wasn't born on the 25th. You know what I mean? It has what? How are you're feeling right now? Is you saying because you don't want to identify as Christian? Is that affecting your views on Christmas in any way and what you want to
Yeah.
teach your children?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely has. Because on the I guess the educational side, like understanding
Mhm.
the history of Christmas, understanding the aspect of consumerism, like outside of Black Friday, this is one of the holidays that people spend the most money, go into the most debt, get into
Mhm.
spaces where it's really not a jolly holiday. Like people are so
Mhm.
down and depressed during this
Mhm.
holiday, and angry and upset, like fighting over stuff in the stores. It's like,
Mhm.
do I really want to continue to perpetuate this idea of a holly jolly Christmas or Jesus being the reason for
Mhm.
the season when that's not really what it is?
Yeah, and some fat white man in a suit bought you all this, and I didn't spend my money to give you a gift. Come on, I never really liked that. Like you work hard to get buy your children stuff, and you got to say somebody else bought it for them. Like,
And that's one thing my parents never did. They like, nah, Santa ain't
yeah,
buy this, we did.
yeah,
And for me, it was like going to school. They talk about Santa Claus. I was a kid in the classroom that the teacher was like,
and
"Don't say
he,
nothing, don't say nothing." I'm like,
yeah,
"Look, Santa Claus ain't real.
yeah,
Your mom and dad got you them gifts, and I'm getting in trouble in class because I'm telling the truth."
mm, yeah.
So it was like I ain't had no choice but to grow up and tell the truth and teach my kids the truth,
Right.
because there's so many lies that have been passed down. Christmas, Easter, the Easter Bunny, and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. Like, come on, y'all. What bunny lay eggs?
Right. I don't understand why they put that together. Like, I don't get it.
But if you study the history of these holidays, a lot of them are what are considered pagan, or like
Mhm.
they have a deeply negative energetic root.
Mm.
Like or other people might say demonic, or that, like whatever you want to call it. Like
Mhm.
it just didn't come from a place and space of it being about what it's been switched around to,
Mhm.
or what it's been perpetuated as. But it's really about the money. Christmas,
Yeah.
Halloween, Easter, like it's become about the money. How much money can
Yeah.
they get people to spend?
If it's a fashion show in church on Easter, you got to wear your Easter bet,
Girl.
like, you know.
Like you got to have your Easter outfit.
Yes.
Got to have the biggest hat. Like all of it. Like, come on, y'all.
Yep. What
Come on,
that got
y'all.
to do with anything? Like,
So it's just been a lot of like questioning things, a lot of doing research to understand for myself versus taking it for what I was taught or what I was shown or what I've seen.
mhm.
But really sitting back and asking why, like, why am I even celebrating this?
Right. It's just tradition. He did it because my family did it. He grew up doing it. I'm sorry, and never really questioned it. But then that's a little dangerous if you never really think about why you do stuff.
Hmm. We just literally, like, habitually moving forward and taking things as they come. Like, oh, well, this is how it's always been, so I'm just gonna keep doing it without questioning it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, and it's a way to survive, because you know thinking about family, thinking about community. These things are community based. These holidays are community based. You get together with your
Mhm.
family. You get together.
Yes.
So to be the one on the outside, like, I don't celebrate that no more.
Yeah. And I can relate to that because we don't necessarily celebrate it either. But our family still does, grew up doing
Mm-hmm.
it. But like you said, that's how we commune. That's how we get together. Grandma cooking, we going over by grandma's house, and we get out, for the Thanksgiving dinner, the Christmas dinner. It is communal, and just that aspect of it, I try to just like, okay, that's what the holidays mean to me, not
Yeah.
necessarily the what they claim is supposed to be about, or whatever. So
Yeah. It's like how, like even now, like learning to navigate that whole thing where it's like my neighbors they're doing like we're like a close knit on this end of our cul-de-sac. Like we do a lot of stuff together, and
mhm.
they're they're doing a secret Santa for Christmas, and I was the only one to not participate because I'm not expected for my kids for Christmas, so I'm
Mm.
going to go out and buy somebody else something for Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's like in those moments, it's like, do you just go along to get along, or do you stand on your beliefs and stand on your principles and be like, well, I'm not participating, and
Right.
not necessarily going to the group and say, oh, I don't celebrate Christmas. It was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll respond to something else. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I really do.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a different like a different way of thinking, a different way of being. Because like I said, when you in a family that still get together for Thanksgiving, still get together for Christmas, and they want to do,
Hmm.
different things, like I go, but
Yeah.
it's just like, not like if you ask me a question, I'm gonna let you know. Like, yeah, nah, that's not what it is.
Right.
Like, that's not what it is. But it's definitely been different navigating as my beliefs change and under my understanding of different things change. Cause it's like you don't you usually don't have people around you, especially people closest to you that believe the same way or think the same way or
Hmm.
even think to question things.
Yeah.
And so I definitely understand the idea or the concept of not questioning things because you don't want to be the oddball out. You don't want to be the black sheep. You don't want to be the one to, be the odd man out. But the
Yeah.
path is narrow. Okay, it's
Yeah.
not narrow for no reasons because it's not. It's because a lot of people are not gonna go.
Exactly. I just try to find like-minded people, like. And I feel like we're doing at platforms like this, just engaging with you, just seeing, getting to understand a bit more about you and your mindset. Like, yeah, I was supposed to, I was supposed to engage with you. I think you give off a frequency, an energy, a vibe that is similar to my mindset and think opinions and thoughts on things. So thank you again, like for what you do. Like it's necessary.
Thank you for reminding me because, like I said, it keep me going because, like I said, it get hard when it's not a lot of people around you that think the way that you do or do things the way that you do,
Yeah,
and people don't understand like why she act like that or why she doing all that. Da, 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 da. It's because like I'm called to this.
yeah,
Yeah, that is our 6 sessions. Give me
right.
some feedback. Give me your thoughts. I know you didn't necessarily get to make it to all the sessions, and I know we'll probably
Yes,
talk more about the book as go along. Like I said,
yes. I'm sure something will
just
come up.
remember to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Take what is necessary for you from it. Because, like I said, my mindset, my beliefs, a lot of different things were different, and I even
Hmm.
going into this whole process of writing a book to begin with, it was a part of my healing journey. And now like being able to go back and read it and see how I've changed, how things have shifted, and even like you'll see at some point I made some declarations and different things about my life or what I wanted. Yeah, a lot of those things have changed. I don't want those things no more.
Yeah,
So it's like it was interesting for me now reading it because I've read it over the years, but this time it was like, man, like I've changed tremendously.
Yeah.
changed tremendously, but the concepts and the experiences that I had, I know are still supportive for people to be able to hear. Because I don't
Yes.
necessarily think that I'm going to redo like this book, but that's one of
Hmm.
the reasons why I'm doing the second edition of it so that people can see like the evolution of me, the evolution of my beliefs, the evolution of my life.
Right.
And so people can understand like, oh, she at the time I think that was 2018. I was I became newly licensed, a licensed minister. So I was heavy in the church, heavy in religion, heavy in, studying the Bible, but it was more
Hmm.
so like taking it from the perspective of the pastor,
Yeah.
really understanding it and applying it for myself and understanding it from inside of my relationship with God. So it's definitely this second edition.
Hmm.
It's gonna be something else.
Mm. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to continue reading the book and finish it. And again, yes, I will hit you up on anything that comes up for me. Email, maybe might come up on YouTube or something. I don't know, but I definitely will get back to you about it. But yes,
Yes.
I'm intrigued for sure.
Yes, I appreciate you. And if you have any questions, like, oh, do you still believe like that? Like I said, I'm an
Hmm.
open book
Hmm.
because it's like I said, it's not just about me. It's not about
Right.
me. I don't have the wisdom, the knowledge, the information, the gifts and abilities that I have just for me. I'm
Right.
blessed and gifted to be a blessing to others. So
Absolutely.
whatever you need, I got you.
Thank
So we
you.
are doing a giveaway.
Hmm.
I'm going to drop the feedback form. I gotta stop sharing, but I'm gonna drop the feedback form in the chat so that
Hmm.
giveaway. Copy the link and let me know. I know last time, I don't know if we were here at that event. We probably were, but the Google Forms, they changed some of their settings, so it was like you have to change it where it's accessible to the people that you share it with. And that's
Hmm.
completely new because we never had to do that before. So with my VA, she was like, "Oh, I didn't see this." And so when she went
Hmm.
back and I told her what happened, she found it because I ain't know.
Hmm.
So let
Right.
me know if you can access the the feedback form.
I just clicked it and it's loading. Yep. It's all in me talk feedback form. Yep.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's loading.
So
All right now.
if you want to fill that out
Mhm.
and just indicate that you want to be entered into the giveaway, do that, and we'll be in
Mhm.
touch about
Okay.
the prizes. Make sure that's everything.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
All right. All
make
right. Well,
sure.
this was good. This is a great session. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
All right. You're
Good
welcome.
night.
Bye. Good night.